What is the culture? To me, it's expression, it's the cool, it's the power, it's diversity, it's a voice, it's collaboration and the ability to envision something and bring it to life. To build something beyond us and to solve problems. Culture is the future and most importantly, it's the youth. I feel like if we're going to talk about the culture and the youth, I can't be the only voice for the voiceless. So here's the stage, here's the mic, let's talk.
A lot of people can't stay musicians forever.
I think artists and musicians really should look themselves as a business.
My name is Zoleka Monta and we are back like umqolo for another episode of Culture Conversations. Today's episode is powered by the one and only North Face. Today we are going to be talking about the future of SA music. I'm going to firstly introduce my panel. Actually, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to make it more exciting. You're just going to introduce yourself and also like a genre that you like. I'll start with you.
Genre that I like?
Yes, I'll start with you.
Oh, start with him.
I want to start with you. I want you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much, Zoleka. That was great. And shout out to Sports Scene for the platform.
Sure.
For the youth, by the youth. I'm very glad that they didn't go and grab all the old label hits.
Damn, bro, just like that.
My name is Thsia. I'm the co-founder and also the CEO of the T-Fact. But more than that, I'm also like a servant. I'm a servant to the clients that I work with, which would have been the AKA, which is my biggest client, and of course the Titch, RIP to both.
Yep.
But currently we also then have a roster which includes Musa Keys, who's an amapiano producer. We've got Sjava, we've got Prince KB. And we've also got an exciting gospel artist by the name of Hle. And then we've also got like developing artists, C Hle, who's on that yep whatever song by Uncle Waffles. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's yippee yeah, kind of thing. C Hle, she's very dope. Like she is the one to look for. Trust me, in the next year. Konke, who is pretty dope as well, signed to Musa Keys' label. Leandra Vert, who went from being an R&B artist into, being an amapiano, developing as well. And then also we do have like a very dope producer who also works a lot with Musa Keys. His name is Toby Franco.
Hey guys, my name is Tirzah Thsia. I'm basically in the music industry. I currently am brands and booking manager of Puppy Cooper. I've been in the industry for about 6 years now. We can round it out about 6 years. Just been pushing, just been playing with different people behind and in front of the mic as well. I always like to lead with, I make musicians famous. Because really, in my head, I see it that way. In my head, I see it as pushing not just a talent, but their gifts as well. One thing I always say too is there is a song for every moment. I definitely believe that. And as long as we have that, as long as we know that, music will always be the number one healing medicine that touches everyone, no matter who you are. So that's me, Tirzah Thsia, and I make musicians famous.
Just to, introduce who I am, I use the government name, Ruzani, but people know me as Roo.
Hello, kid.
Hey.
Damn, bro. I'm the editor-in-chief of Brand Reserve Coach, which is a global context company. What that means is that I oversee some of the platforms that exist within our media ecosystem. So Hypebeast Africa, Daily Capsule 10 and 5. There's also others that are on the way as well. Prior to my position, people knew me for holding the position of editor for Hype magazine for just like a little under 7 years. So I did Hype. The core of who I am or my essence is storytelling. Been doing it since 2012. So sort of like also have an oversight in terms of just the history of where we come from to where we are today. And yeah, man, I'm just a conduit really of music. I'll say in terms of genre, because I don't think they answered the question.
I was about to say.
We did.
They didn't answer. But hip hop definitely, saved my life. It was sort of like the inception of who I am today. But there's obviously others now, but I would say hip hop was the one that really kickstarted my story. Yeah.
Love it. And then you guys?
I think the genre that introduced me into the industry was definitely jazz, and that's just because of my dad. Shout out to him, he is late, but shout out to him. So jazz was definitely my heart's tune. It's changed now, hey? I really am gravitating towards Afrobeat right now. That's the one that touches me.
Jazz is hitting though. Jazz?
I think I'm more interested in hearing your view because you manage quite a lot of different...
What is the question?
The question
What's
is,
the genre?
which genre do you gravitate more
Oh,
towards?
definitely gospel.
Please tell us why. No, we want to know why.
Come on.
That's a
Okay, no.
gospel behavior
Yeah.
as well. I ain't gonna lie.
No, gospel, especially Shay. I love Shay. Shay's music is top one, hey? I love quite a lot of genres. I can't pick one and don't know what they call it. They call it your genre fluid, actually.
Yep.
Genre fluid. So I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna ask you guys, when someone says that, what does it mean?
I think it means that you are really open to a variety of experiences, sonically, and I think artistically as well, because it's not just about the sound, it's also like the context behind the sound. So when an artist
100.
brings in or present their sound, they also present in their world as well.
Right.
So you tend to be put in this position, which is exciting, I think, where you're able to explore different types of things, right? Different types of messaging, different types of topics, for example. So I think that's just to answer that question.
Definitely. I mean, and it's being open, as you'd say, right?
Yeah.
So, but also it's also grabbing influences from other genres. For example, just hip hop itself being a sampling genre, and I know that amapiano is also going into that interpolation,
For sure.
thing as well, right? So it's also just grabbing influences from everywhere where you could, and just being open to any sound, I mean, I wouldn't have known of, honestly, me personally, I wouldn't have known of Otis Redding if it wasn't for Jay-Z and Kanye West sampling Otis Redding, And there's so many other examples that
Even
we could.
AK was very big.
Oh yeah, he was big on sampling.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of that, do you guys believe that hip hop is dying over amapiano?
Hip hop just died this morning. Is it dead?
I think there's more of like a resurgence, for lack of a better term. I mean, Casper and Nasty just announced a tour.
Yes.
For example, you're seeing a lot of activity happening within culture. I think the past 3 years is sort of like this figuring it out of like where our next chapter is going,
Right.
And I think right now there's a lot of interest, a lot of conversation. The fact that you even asking this question just also proves the point that in terms of talkability, it's still relevant. But I think also as a person that is quite appreciates the culture so much, I'm seeing it, I'm enjoying it now. I'm seeing the records that are being dropped. Maybe they aren't being dropped from a mainstream POV, but if you really are part of the culture, then you know where to
the
look.
songs, yeah.
And I think it's sort of like this resurgence, sort of like rebirth type of phase that we're in.
Okay.
Just to echo off of that, I think that music is seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that it's not relevant, but it's seasonal, so we're giving it its platform. I don't think that hip-hop could ever be forgotten because
100.
everything stems off hip-hop, right? It covers so much. It covers so much platforms just outside of music itself. It goes into culture. It goes into clothing. It goes into
Pop culture.
basketball, even hip-hop touches everywhere. So I cannot say it's dead, but is it below amapiano currently? For sure. But no one is, we're all seeing that amapiano is mainstream right now.
Right now,
Is it dead? No, we cannot ever forget hip-hop.
Hip-hop.
I'll actually echo that as well.
Yeah.
I'll echo that. The consumption of hip hop music, streaming wise, and which the consumption is definitely declining.
For sure.
But hip hop is a lifestyle. That's what we all know.
Yeah.
Right. So you see the hip hop in what you're wearing, North Face. You see hip hop in the aspiration, right? In music videos where there's these cars and these kind of people that you want to be amongst, right? When you, whether at a party or at home, you see the aspiration in terms of, there's big mansion houses. You see, so hip hop is a lifestyle, and I think growing from hip hop, if you know, hip hop definitely is a lifestyle. And if you look at the amapiano acts right now, if I bumped into maybe a vocalistic or a maporisa or Musa Keys, not knowing, I would say, oh, shucks, that's probably a hip-hop artist if you told me I was an artist.
Facts,
because of the way that they're wearing, because of what they're driving, because of what I see on social media without having to listen to their music, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think hip-hop is dead or dying. It's just transitioning into something else. And let's be honest, right? I mean, you spoke about, you listen to jazz because your dad listened to, but at some certain point, you can then make up your own choice and go like, you know what? I want to be very different from my older generation. And similarly, like, the next generation is gonna gravitate to something else, right? And as much as myself and Roo, I don't know about you, would have gravitated to hip hop because that's the era that we're born into, and that is what's happening then. My parents were not into hip hop at all, and still not, right? It was an R&B thing, there was a hip hop thing, and then the next generation, we should not expect them to be
into what we were into.
Into what we're into. They need to get something that's very exciting for themselves because they don't want to. Because also music is very, it's your identity at some point, at some time, right? So they need to also get their own identity, and I think that I really identified that they want to gravitate more towards amapiano. Numbers don't lie, women lie. Men lie.
But numbers.
Lucas also lies.
Take this guy's mic away. Someone just unmic him real quick.
So do you think the music that's being created these days will have that impact? Like, can I listen to an amapiano song 10 years from now and be like, yo, this song is the one, and my child's like, yo, mama, this song is the one?
It's an interesting question. I think that's based off the intention for me.
Do you make substance music?
Yeah, like what's the intention behind, I guess, the artist? I think back in the days, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I could be wrong, but I assume that there was sort of like more soul that was included in terms of like making music. I mean, you had like black artists that were making amazing, like jazz records, for example, within a time frame that was quite hard for them. So the intention, I guess, was more release, but I think also there was other positive intentions that inclined into it. Today's world as well, it's like, you can have like a kid that's just making a record, amapiano record just because it's a popular sound and they probably know which drum kits to use, and let's add this ad-lib here, because there's a formula that exists, I think, right now that you can tap into to present like a hit record. But the distinctive factors, the intention behind it, those are the songs that I think tend to become timeless. It's the phrase that you use. So you have to be able to discern as an individual whether this artist's intention is actually true or not. And I think it exists today. I know a couple of artists that I still get that sort of like good intention from the artistic expression.
I think there's a lot of factors that really go into it, right? I'm looking at it as an artist manager. I'm looking at it on a business perspective, right? So let's take it back to the 90s where there was not a streaming economy. There was physicals, and you had to go out and record, be in studio, right? So you didn't have your own home studio recording, so you have to hire out, so which means obviously it was basically more to be, it costed you more to be an artist because you had to go and, book the studio, you had to go and mix and master, but also because it was not a streaming economy, then also had to go and physically do those, which means you have to put out the money, Right now, it's so easy for you to actually go, like, anybody can do it from their bedroom.
I want to say that.
Right? Everybody can do it from their bedroom. So you can record and you can be like, oh, shucks, I think the world is going to like this. But unfortunately, you're right, I think, the latest stats, I think, say like about 102,000 tracks are uploaded on Spotify or whatever a day. A day.
Kind of makes sense, though.
It does.
Of those,
there's a lot of
like,
music out there.
99% of them don't even get like 50 streams.
Yeah.
Right? So you are, you're comparing like what used to be like what's so like, if I can say for a word like a niche, kind of like, you have to really put in effort. You really had to really have the resources to do that.
Yeah, even like practically, man, like.
True.
Back in the days, they were actually playing those instruments, the guitars, learning,
in a live studio,
how to play the piano, etc.
Yeah.
Today, you can pop up that guitar, drum kit, pack, on the
quickly
full
drag.
loops
Let
and
me
just
drag it real quick.
I guess you have to understand like chord progressions and stuff like that. There's certain things you need to know, but I think there is a difference also practically in terms of how music was made back then that had its own sort of like soul.
That's what I was going to talk about. I'm talking about the lyrics. I'm talking about like, is the music relatable, or we just, we're just doing TikTok dances and that's all.
So for me, I definitely would say he's a storyteller, right?
Yes.
I think it's about the story behind the song. That's how I feel a song. If a song is saying something relatable to me and it really hits me deep, I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna listen to this one again. Boom. I'm gonna listen to this again. Boom. I'm gonna listen to this again. Whether it was main, whether it was whether it went platinum, whatever, when it was dropped, if I feel it, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna keep on listening to it. If it's something that, I'm not pointing out any genres or anything like that, but if it's something similar to it, something that I've heard similar, then maybe not. Because I know already what to expect. I can predict what to expect.
You know what's the first sign that I use to signify that this is worth my time? The artwork.
Really?
Yeah. If the artwork's not hitting, I'm like, I'm wasting my time.
That's interesting.
That's just me.
So what's your best artwork that's been out right now?
Yeah, please.
You're asking too much now.
I also want to know.
I'm curious to know what's the best artwork to be this year.
No, it doesn't have to be this year.
No, I have to look at my phone. I have to look at my phone. I mean, I've heard a lot of albums that have good artworks, but I'm just saying that's like one sign for me. I'm just like, man, if you're not serious,
with the artwork,
then
what is the artwork, without pointing out anyone specific? Sorry, I'm not stealing your job. I'm picking his brain. What is the artwork example of something that is whack for you? Just the example without.
Like, what do you mean? Like, without name dropping?
No, name drop. Name drop.
No.
What you name drop?
But how is you going to say it? Like you can say, maybe something with a flower in the corner and a...
That's you.
So you can name drop too.
I'm not that kind of
Let's
guy.
make this go viral.
Oh man, but I have seen some bad examples over the years, but I've also seen some good ones, and I tend to gravitate towards the good ones.
Give me an example of a good one.
Okay, a good one for me would be, let me shout out my boy, like Una Ram's.
Okay.
That project. What he was wearing there, the fit, the styling. I think Michelle shot the cover. Everything's dope. Already, before even listening to records, I'm like, I know this is gonna be some serious.
Is like being a musician, especially in South Africa, a sustainable career? And how, if it is, how? Yeah.
I like this answer so much because a lot of people ask me this.
Yeah.
I definitely do think so. I think the role you're playing would probably switch up. A lot of people can't stay musicians forever, right?
Yeah.
It's not a thing. Or rather, you could be a musician forever, but you won't be in the limelight forever. It's project based on project based on project, where the people gravitate towards it. But you can be a musician. It's just the way you make your money has to sometimes switch up.
Okay.
You can't always just. have one revenue stream. No, we're trying to get at least 7 or more of that coming to you for you to be sustainable as a musician, to push as a musician. This is where we gravitate and pivot to other platforms, still music based, still industry based, but just doing different roles. But your main core, your main platform is as a musician. One huge example that I'll give, and just because this is my favorite area to work on, brands. We link artists to brands and we partner up there and we push campaigns. You are still a musician, but you are getting that guap from somewhere else.
Other places as well.
No, I agree. Like, so is being a musician sustainable? It's similar question. Like, is any business sustainable, right? So you need to look at any business. I think artists and musicians really should look themselves as a business, right? And businesses have different goals. So maybe you are a DJ out in Soweto, Alex, Mawapane, Mahikeng, whatever, and your vision is to just be the guy in the hood. And that's you. You're just gonna get your 2,000 every weekend, and you're gonna, that's your vision. That's what you want to do, right? Then there are people who can then go to, for a Devon Gold or Folklistic, whatever, and they're like, yo, we wanna go international, right? That's their vision, right? And they're gonna keep to that until they get to that. So just as any other business, not every business is gonna be a huge corporate that is being listed on the GSE and all that, right? So we'll have our small businesses that is a butchery, and they will stay a butchery in their hood, and they will do that, and they will not franchise to become a spa elsewhere or whatever, right? But they're very happy with themselves doing that,
what they do,
right? But there are also artists who are like, no, but maybe I have my family here. I do not want to travel that much. I just want to do my own residency at one particular venue and so forth. So it really is relative and dependent on what your vision is as a business. And I'm gonna call you a business, you being the artist.
Right.
100.
Yeah, I think they kind of said it all, man. Because I hate being poetic, but I like the the vision term that you referenced, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, it truly depends on the vision that artist has for themselves.
100.
And obviously that will help them, navigate how they are sustainable they are. But you look at like examples like Casper, for example. We know him as a musician, but he's got like
a business.
The other stuff. I think his vision. He has his own vision, probably as well. We sing the moves, the shoe collab.
I'm just kidding.
The drinks. But yeah, just to sort of echo what the guys were saying. Yeah.
For young people out there who want to be a part of the music industry, like, what other things are there for you to do? As I know one of them is being an artist manager.
Creative directing. There's a lot, man. There's so many.
There's a lot. It might not be you being a live performer, but there's other areas outside. For me, musicians are bigger than just performing live on stage. There's a lot of musicians that have knowledge, vocalistic for one, who are producers behind the scenes as well. There are writers as well. There are creative directors, they know the industry, they know how it works as well. So you can leverage on that too. Just to name a few of what you can do.
I mean, the music, and we call it the music economy. It's very large. So, for example, if you have a very serious artist, right? So you'll have an artist, and you'll definitely have a producer, which is another revenue. Then you're like, oh shucks, I need to actually step out of my house, but I need to look good. So maybe you look for a stylist who can make you look good. So a stylist would do that, right? A creative director who would put together your show and do, you have a songwriter, but maybe you'll also have maybe you don't want to work with artists per se, but you want to be associated with artists, and you want to directly, then you'll be a promoter who then books artists because you're on the ground. Right? So you're on the ground like, oh shucks, actually Roo is a new artist that I'm seeing bubbling, and I think he can give me like a couple of people come into my venue. So therefore, so we have venues as well. We have clubs. So the music economy, as we call it, is very large. Obviously, you've got the labels. So you want to probably work for a label. Or you could start your own PR agency. Or you could, develop relationships with the radio. Wow. So you do like radio plug-in and you like, go to artists like, hey, Pabi, I've got a relationship with Sbani at Sbani station at Sports Scene Radio.
Idea.
Right? And
are you dropping soon? Let me.
Just pay me just a little bit of something, X amount. I'll go talk to my people. So the music economy is very, very large. And sound engineer, for example. Or you could be a studio
photographer, personal photographer.
You could be a photographer. It's really. So look at it as, what do you like doing, and what do you think I can contribute to whoever? How can I add value?
Right.
So if Tirzah is an artist, and I like doing such and such, how then can I add value to that? And that's how then you can create. And probably you can even create, so many other things all of a sudden there's a social media manager. King, social media manager.
I'm posting for you.
Manager.
Manager on social media. I'm making sure that your photos go up.
Just create something.
Do something. Yeah. No. And then we are about to wrap up, but this is not the last question. So how, as a musician, how do I ensure that I have a constant income, and I'm never at a point where I can't pay my rent because I'm not getting booked or whatever. How do I ensure that never happens?
I think you gotta be honest with yourself first of all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the music is not taking you to a place where you
want to
were
go,
dreaming at that point, then maybe don't put all your eggs in that basket. You know what I mean? Continue doing it. Making the records, etc., but I think maybe support yourself financially, especially because those factors, those challenges can really have an effect on the mental state.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be a devil's advocate.
Okay, go ahead.
Not that I'm saying, but have you heard the term going out in the ship? I don't know what the term is, but then we burn our ship. Burn the ship.
Let's break it down, contextualize it.
Why
So basically you go out into the ship, and you burn the ship, and what is the term actually that I'm thinking about it? But basically it's like, from the sea you're going into inland.
Okay.
You burn the ship, you go into war with whoever you want to go into. Right. So you are going into war. So for example, let's say, the British are coming to South Africa and they land in Durban and the Zulus are there and they burn their ship, right? Knowing that, you know what? The only thing that we have left is either to die or to take this land.
So it's this. Yeah. There's no. This has to work.
Either we take this land or we
make this work.
So we make this work. So yes,
I respect that.
And that is, for me, that is throwing all my eggs in one basket.
I respect
to say that, this is what I'm going to do. This is my purpose for now. For the next few days, I'm going to fight. This is my purpose, and I'm going to burn the ship while it's here, and then I'm going to fight and focus on that, knowing that I cannot return back home anyway. So
I respect that. But if there's an artist who is not even entering the music industry with that mindset,
that's what I'm saying.
Then why are you even here? Every artist who starts the industry must have that kind of mindset. It's not about how I'm feeling and what I'm putting and the obstacles, the goals that I'm putting up for myself. It's about the opportunities that are opening up. Okay. Yeah, for sure, I can burn that ship. But some artists, if I'm an artist and I'm there and I'm not making money and my child is sick, then what?
Yeah, but it's also I respect that mentality, but I'm still, I think, sticking to what you're saying, what I also started with, gotta be honest with yourself, first of all. There's so many artists that have that mentality saying, I'm all in on this, but they're not honest with the fact that their music is not hitting.
Then maybe they need to, because then there's a whole lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't be stuck in
your
ways.
Yeah.
So if you're not there, but you really want to do it, what help and assistance can you get?
Yeah, so I was going to add on to that.
Number one, do I look good to be on stage?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I've ticked that part.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe my production or my songwriting is not on point. So then back to the music economy. Who can I really get to really
you're right.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is a life, it's not even about music, right? So if you really think, you know what, I'm going to change the world with my work, whatever that work is, putting out my music and being on stage and doing all of this. If you are so, convicted of that, then yes, sometimes you cannot do it alone. You need to, and that's why in corporate, if you look in corporate, you start as an intern, but you have like a mentor who really can, because as an intern, sometimes I look at you like, even I give her to Patela.
Where do you guys see the future of SA music?
I think the future is bright, man. I'm very optimistic about the direction that our music industry is moving towards, especially when you see how big, like the collaborations that are coming out, right? So it's not just sort of like home-based now, it's sort of like this continental. It's crazy how there's this synergy between like Afrobeats and piano, for example. Which is such a big sign, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, like there's so much potential here than what we realize. So I'm pretty much excited. I'm excited to see, a global audience, explore other sounds beyond what they currently are receiving, because when it comes to the continent itself, man, there's so many sounds beyond English Africa. Yeah. There's so many other experiences that I think I'm excited to see. But in SA specifically, very optimistic to see what happens. And I'm here for the journey.
100.
Yeah.
I think it's our time, man.
Yeah.
For sure, I think it's our time. I think it's definitely our center right now. And I think we're going to stay in this, being the number one for quite some time, and having amapiano be the example of that. Like, we are international with amapiano right now.
It's great to see. Obviously, hip hop. I think there were a couple of people that really paved the way for what amapiano has gotten to right now. Shout out to all the amapiano acts that are traveling the globe right now. They are in the US, they are in Europe. They're on tour, like a proper tour, and I think that we have really found a sound in South Africa that really, I say we advocate, but also advocates for us and really puts us on the global map. Yeah. Right. So what's about to come? I'm old to say that. Like I did say, each generation has their own, and I know that the teens right now, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, are cooking up something that might not even be amapiano, right? But I'm very keen to hear what that sounds like, and if that's very exciting, and hopefully it'll be very exciting to me as well. But I mean, for right now, I think being present in the moment. Shout out to amapiano for really exporting our local acts to the world. I know Musa Keys is in LA right now. Uncle Waffles was doing Miami. Bobby Cooper was out there. Devin Gogo, Focalistic. No hip hop act, including Lucas Raps.
Thank you guys so much for joining us and for sharing your time and your opinions. I had fun chatting to you and I learned a lot. And I think I want to be an artist now. So if one of you is ready to manage me,
Round of applause. Round. Please. Let's pretend like we've got PhDs. Round of applause.
And there we have it for today's episode. It was an amazing episode chatting to the pioneers of the future of SA music. So you can leave a comment down below to engage more with us in this conversation, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Sports Scene. And one last shout out, thank you to North Face for helping us with the drip. We look so nice. So we get to strong in North Face. So yeah, until next time, see you soon.